We was good.
Yeah, that's the number we
Y'all
pay
getting up,
for it.
bro. Why you always questioning stuff? Because you got a
Because
different.
that's what I do. I question everything.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I go against the system regularly.
I don't believe it,
Well,
bro. You a part of the system.
You know what? I try to change it. I try to change the system. That's what
All
we're here
right.
for, right?
I guess. I don't know. We're gonna see.
yeah, y'all just gonna talk over the fact that we got some
We got
women
some
in
guests.
here. We got some guests in here today.
What we do? What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Hey,
How are you ladies doing? Welcome to Perspective. We appreciate y'all taking the time to jump in with us today. We hope that this will be an enlightful and engaging conversation. We're gonna take some time and get to know you ladies a little bit, and hopefully our audience can get to know you and your perspectives on some of the things that we like to discuss.
All right, let's do
Sounds
it.
good.
Relationships, baby.
Relationships, bro. They tough.
Relationships.
R.I.P. KS, man. He was
What
a
that
real
mean?
one.
Hey, yeah.
Welcome. What's up, ladies? How we doing?
What up?
What's
It's
going
one
on?
at this point.
I know it's
We
just
don't-
me
what?
now.
What happened?
We
I don't know.
started with me.
There we go.
Hey, there she go.
People keep having issues and keep leaving the stream. People get nervous because the camera is on and backing out and all that type of stuff. I don't know what's going on.
I'm camera
And look,
shy.
I just kicked my light down. So
Yeah, don't be camera shy. Don't be
You too
camera shy.
dark. Your
Alright.
camera is foggy though, huh?
my camera foggy again.
Yeah, bro. You too dark skin. I don't know. Let's go.
I don't know what's going on, man. It's all good. Kirby, how we doing today?
I'm good. How about y'all?
We are good. Won't you introduce yourself and tell people who you are and how they can find you?
Like what y'all want to know? Like,
Actually, we want to know whatever you want to tell us.
uh, let
Where
me
you
see.
from? How can we find you on Instagram if we want to look you up? Stuff like
All
that.
right, I'm Kirby. I'm from Texarkana, Texas, and my Instagram is KGC_6450. Um, let me see. I'm 37, so yeah, that's
All
about
right.
it.
You didn't have to tell your age though. You don't
All
got
Okay,
to
right.
tell.
All
You
I
right.
ain't
don't.
got
I
to
mean,
tell.
I
All
just
right.
did because of the,
Oh,
the
the topic.
It's
Okay.
all good.
yeah.
Bet.
All right, we got Keita in here. Keita, how? Tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. Tell us how they can find you.
My name is Keita, and I am an entrepreneur. I have a cleaning business, and you can find me at Renaissance Woman Inc. on Instagram. I think, yeah, I think that's me. And I'm
All right.
34. I just turned 34. I'm a Taurus. You know. You can DM me. Anybody out there?
Happy birthday. Oh, damn.
All right. Well,
All right. I'm gonna be serious now. Sorry.
no, it's
this
all
is
good. No,
Right, you might have been serious. That's okay.
right.
we have fun. Sharice, you there?
I think Sharice having some issues.
We 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 missing Sharice and Constance. Where they go?
Right.
Ooh.
We dropped a couple.
Oh,
We gonna get it
we didn't
going.
drop a couple. Hey, we gonna get it going. Taff, why are we here today, Taff? What what is going on? Why did we bring these lovely women in to be on the perspective with us and to
And
get there? I guess I don't know what we're gonna
you
call
the
the perspective
moderator.
for women.
You the moderator and you the host, right? So everybody watching it think they kind of know me or know me a little bit, gonna assume that I started this shit up, right? So now I'm on an island all by myself. They gonna assume this had to be a Jacobys topic. But no,
Yeah. You the one who said you want to talk about Kevin
Yeah.
Samuels. We putting you on Front Street. Hey, this is Jacobys Topic, everybody, just for the record. Jacoby
Okay.
and Parrish. They're the two that wanted to talk about it.
Right.
Look at you. You always know Parrish good for leaving somebody on the island by himself. He said, "Please don't put me in it." His whole face was like,
You could put me. You could put me into it. I'll. You want me to start it off? You want me to start off? Or you gonna start it off? I'll
yeah,
kick
you
it
should.
off.
You should start it off. I got you. Go there.
So the topic came about because Kevin Samuel had brought up the issue in regards to women over 35 being eligible to date.
To you.
He sent it to me. Being eligible to date. Now, off top, I'm not a big Kevin Samuel supporter. I mean, I see very different perspectives on what he shared. After we discussed it a little longer, I said, you know what? I can see what he's talking about in the words that he used, in the way that he created the scenario. Do I completely agree? No. The context that he shared is something that you can discuss, but that's where it landed. So then my man Jacoby was like, man, well, we can take this a little further into a bigger discussion. Let's hear from other individuals. And I think it became even a bigger or broader topic because I brought up, well, at times he targets certain individuals to speak on his platform. He doesn't allow everybody to speak on his platform. If you're not always kind of in line or following what he says, doesn't want to hear from you. So I was like, at least he should allow people to express what they're really thinking, express what they really want to say, and then go from there. So that's how the bigger discussion started. So that's when we decided, well, let's really talk about women over 30. What is it like for them dating? Is what he said actually something to listen to? And then bam, this conglomerate of individuals who are like, hey, I got something to say, which is great.
So ladies, what it really came down to is that Kevin Samuels thinks that there's a certain group of women that are leftovers. If they are in a certain class of women, they're leftovers, which means that they're not the first round pick of a man. They're basically something men come back for to warm up later on because they already had their primary dinner and they chose what they wanted, and that's that. Now, what we're trying to really figure out, because we're out of the debate, is there a certain group of women or a certain class of women or a certain age or certain criteria that makes you a leftover? And we've had this discussion amongst the group. I'm normally the one that has to go out front and catch the bullets. Maybe because of my job, I got to be the person that runs into danger. But the whole point is this. You got Sanaa Lathan. You've got Holly Berry. You've got these exclusive women out there that are of a certain class, rich, all of these type of things that are desired by a large group of men, but seem to find their way back into the free agency pool often. That a result of being a leftover? There's so many definitions to what is a leftover or not. Can they be too rich to not be a leftover? Women, all of these different things that we have in front of us. I feel that, like Parrish was saying, there is a certain group of women out there that would not respond to Kevin Samuels or his antics or what some people may consider to be his BS. So I felt like there needed to be a bigger discussion around women that are of a certain level of sophistication, more maturity, or a different type of caliber. They're like, I wouldn't even address a dude like him, but yet we still need to break down some of these narratives and stereotypes to get put out there. So somewhere along the lines of all this stuff, we ended up saying, you know what? Well, let's drop this topic, involve some ladies out there that's in the dating pool and get their opinion. So feel free to go there and let us know what y'all think about some of the comments he made, and the guys can probably give a little more clarification too.
So it wasn't like dating over 30. Put it that way. Let's start there, guys.
You start there, yeah.
Who want to go first?
One.
Ain't no being shy. Come on, let's go.
All right, I'll go first. Dating over 30 is horrible. Y'all want to say the women are leftovers. These men are leftovers too. It ain't. I don't know. It's just, it's hard. It's slim pickings out here. It's real slim pickings.
Well, why is it slim pickings?
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to expand on that. You got to tell us why.
These men now, they have, the men that are out there have issues. Like, it's not any dateable man. Like, I don't know. I'm in Dallas, a big, metropolitan
Metroplex. Yeah.
Like, there's nobody out there that doesn't have issues or doesn't have baggage.
Well,
So
we all got baggage.
I mean, yeah,
So
I guess.
come on, Kirby, what's going on?
Um, I'm with Makita because it's hard out here. You hear me? I'm in Texarkana, and Texarkana is even smaller than the Metroplex. Females be sharing men and all that. I ain't got time for it. Not at all.
Right. So
It's really hard.
What's wrong with
My
sharing?
stylist.
What's wrong with
What's
sharing,
wrong
Kirby?
with sharing? Don't nobody want to share at all. No.
Okay.
she said no.
I
She said no.
understand that.
So
I mean, I was going to say that was one of the topics that were part of that whole over 35 discussion, that because of the age at which people are dating, you got to be okay with sharing a guy in various dating situations. That's just what was shared.
Really?
that's what he said.
That's what was one of the topics.
He did say that. That's what he said.
And that's why we're saying, that's why we're bringing all this up, because that was one of the topics that he said. He was like, hey, if you're over 35, you should be okay that you may be dating a guy who's dating somebody else. And so that's why we're like, man, we need to really hear from these women to be like, nah, it's not okay because, or, oh, I do see a perspective in that. So that's why we need to hear from you guys.
And Kirby, can I just leave by saying this?
Okay.
Part of the discussion about that and why he said that was due to the fact that, and before we start looking at it and making it seem like men just have the upper hand, let's get behind analytics of that. But supposedly,
No,
the ratio.
hold on, let's start here though. All right, so listen to what we're talking about. All right, cool. So the dating pool is what, right? Y'all black women. I'm assuming you're interested in black men. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Black men. All right, so
Not necessarily. They dating them all.
They said yes. These two.
I
said
prefer black men. I want a black man.
Prefer.
She preferred black men. Boom. So we started there. Pow.
Yeah.
So where most of us at? Jail. Okay.
True.
Cool. So that drops the dating pool. Dead. Right. Married. Which us more are married. Right. Or we ain't got our shit together. So what is there left? What is there left with?
The ones that you gotta work with to get them where they need to go.
But even with that being said, you said jail, dead, married, right? The ratio still supports that it's more men out there.
No, it's not.
I mean, there's more women out there. More women out there that's available than men. So I guess what I'm saying is that how do we get to that number? How do we make it fair? Like, I mean, if you hit in a certain point, does that mean all the good men are coming off the table early in life and in age? What does that? Huh?
Yeah.
It's a few out there. We just gotta dig through, I guess. I don't
But
know.
see, they have choices.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so the good men, you know what I'm saying, that's out there, they have multiple choices compared to us women. Like, we don't have the choices like men have.
But Kirby, can I ask you another question?
You can't.
When we all got to college, right? In that primarily that first and second year of college, we all had choices. It was pretty fair picking for both. And I feel like that, just like you said, you have to work with men, right? Or things like that. I guess like projects almost. I mean, shit. I don't be out here telling no lies. I was a project. This was not a finished house. Somebody had to go in there and take these bare bones and build something around it. So I think we all had to be worked with. Is just, I think part of what Kevin was saying too was that some women deferred that, kept on taking their youth, kept on taking their potential, and being like, I'm not picking nobody. Even if I got a good guy or whatever the case may be, I'm not picking nobody. I'm gonna keep betting on potential. And then one day, and these are his words, or the way I interpreted his words is that they got too old, and then all of that potential that they kept holding out for, the market turned against them. So where do y'all stand on that? Y'all feeling it?
No, that's very true. When I was in college, I had some potentials, but like I was out there, I thought I was, cute and doing my thing, and then time passed me and time went on, and now I'm single.
Well, it's a numbers game, right? Like Tab mentioned, or Jacoby mentioned, there's a numbers game, but not only that, right? So if you think about women, their lifestyle drastically changes once they're over 30, right? They're out less, they're not in bars and clubbing as
Yeah.
much anymore.
Right.
And so that decreases an opportunity to meet people. Women are less likely to date somebody that they meet at work than men are, so that decreases the number. And then there's already 2 million more African American women in the United
Yeah.
States of America than men. So then that already puts you guys at a disadvantage. So I think what happens is, statistically, women under the age of 30 are more likely to get approached more than a man. And so a woman, she's feeling herself, like you said, she's getting approached more. But then after 30, men are always kind of looking for that younger woman, right? After 30, is dating becomes more serious for women. They're thinking about children and marriage and starting a family. And, to a certain degree, men just want to still continue to have fun. So I think what happens is, I think there's a point in time when women are kind of like the hot item on the shelf, right? And there's a line waiting to date that woman and waiting to be with that woman. And then there's a time where that flips, where now men are no longer the aggressor because they know that again, there's some men are in jail, there's some gay men out here, there's some married men. So men start to realize that they have more of an advantage in dating, knowing that they don't really have to show up and be the best version of themselves in order to get attention. So I think that plays a big role in it. But I also think that Kevin Samuels, although his delivery was horrible, the way he would, he spoke negatively towards women, called them out of their names and all that, God rest his soul. I think that some of the things that he did talk about was actually true and benefited, where he talked a lot about, kind of women's expectations and what they're looking for. And, there's a lot of discussions about what men bring to the table. But we know a lot about what women need and what women want from relationships, just from talk shows and movies and all that. I think one of the biggest struggles is women not always understanding what men want and what they need out of relationships. What you guys think about that?
Or I'll add one more piece. I think sometimes
Go ahead.
there's a lot of miscommunication. A lot of miscommunication, or assumptions being made that the communication is taking place, and then it's necessarily not. So those are the things that I would add to it. So as you guys share your piece, I would like for you to touch on those two things.
We lost one again. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, ladies.
What was the last thing, Dewan? What did you say? The second to last piece that you were saying. Do you remember?
Why are you trying to attack me? I was just talking.
He was saying numbers game, right? Numbers game. There's not many of us out there for y'all to choose from. And then two, after a certain age, the roles reverse. Like we was chasing the women, now the women are chasing the men at a certain age. Like how do y'all feel about that, or what's y'all been y'all experience with that?
I think that's really true. Yeah. I mean, there's no debate about that. It's true.
Okay. We might have one jumping in. I think another angle we want to go ahead.
I was just going to say, as women, because what I hear a lot of people, and I think the reason that some of the things that Kevin Samuel said rub people, because it is a reality that I think a lot of people don't want to accept when those roles reverse. I think there's a lot of women who are uncomfortable with approaching men, right? But I always say, like, well, there's a couple factors. There's some women who are comfortable with meeting somebody online, right? You always hear, I want to meet people authentically. Well, online is the new way that people date, right? And that's the new normal. And then I'm not going to approach a man. I'm not going to, because that seems thirsty. That seems like, when the reality is, if there's a job that you want and there's 7-8 people who want the job, are you going to wait for the job to choose you, or are you going to go say, hey, all right, let me put my name in a hat. I'm interested. I want you to know that I'm interested, and then go from there. How do you guys feel about just that aspect of kind of the things he talk about women having to approach men?
That's something new for me. That's kind of hard. But I get it though. You do have to put yourself out there, but I'm trying my best to get there. It's a little hard.
What makes it so hard?
Because I don't like rejection. I'm quite sure y'all don't like rejection, but I hate rejection. If somebody reject me, I'm like, you know what? I'm finna go back in the house. I'm not gonna put myself out there no more. I'm done. That's how I feel. Mm-mm.
But you know what though? Y'all remember that one music video that was out back in the day where the man took the woman into the Payless shoe store and he told her you could have anything you wanted. Y'all remember that video where he was buying her stuff from like Payless and then they was shopping at like Goodwill and she just was in love with him? You're right. There never was no fucking video like that. This is my point to what I'm trying to get to is that why wouldn't the market change? Why wouldn't the market change? And this is what I mean by that. If I'm a basketball player or a young person in the NBA, and just follow me with sports, women know sports because I seen that the other day go bad, but just follow my little story I'm going with this. I start off on a rookie contract, right? And I'm chasing the big deal, right? I'm going out there. They say this is the standards. You need 100 catches to be a Pro Bowler. You need 150 catches to be an MVP. And if you do that, you are the top of your class. You're the top wide receiver in your group. You've made it, right? It's kind of how college works. You get out there, you're dating women, you're dealing with women, and ultimately you're in college trying to catch a good job, catch the stats that you need to be a top-notch person in your personal life, as a conqueror, as a man, and ultimately to catch a woman that you can have live a comfortable life, right? Mm-hmm. So at some point, if I was out there in my goals, in my journey trying to get to that point the whole time, and I wasn't quite there, somebody was watching me go through all those things, and then I finally reached that potential, and those people now are coming around, well, the market is reset. Just like a wide receiver. A wide receiver is not going to play on a rookie deal when he's an all-star. A wide receiver, LeBron James ain't going to play on that same money he was playing back when Cleveland first drafted him. He's now taking his worth to a new level, which means that it's not about what teams want him. He gets to pick and choose the market. And I think that's the truth. I think that women set the market as far as these are the standards you need to be considered an all-star, whether it be I need these things in life or whether it be I want you to be this type of man in life, right? Because it could be money-wise or it could be emotional-wise, protector-wise. It could be so many things. But once y'all set that market and a man reaches that personally for himself, I do feel that men that are still left over in the market now decide, hey, you know what? My value is reset, and now I'm going to control the market. I'm going to control where I go and how much I'm going to go for and what the standard is that I want. And I think that all does run back to the foundation of what are women asking for you to be out there in the market. I don't think, we're all out of the dating scene, like I said, but I don't think that changes. What you ask me for to be in the market, if I exceed or I meet all the obligations on that contract, by the time it's time to renegotiate, I might be asking for a lot more than I was asking for when I was playing on that rookie deal.
But that's hard, though. That's like checklist stuff, Tam.
But there is a checklist. So you said it's hard, like it ain't no checklist.
But is the checklist the problem, though? Really, I guess women is the expectations the problem, right? Like, I think, we are more like the more expectations we place on people, the more likely we are to get disappointed. That's an unfortunate reality. So, and I'm not talking about the expectations of being respected and the man being faithful and all that, but I'm just saying, like, the expectations that he's always going to know what you think, how you feel, and how to please you. Do you think the expectations for women when it comes to what they're asking for men are high? Because I don't see many men meeting the expectations that these women have on these lists.
I mean, and I think that goes, first of all, expectations in general without any kind of mutual understanding is going to go left. That's one thing. And then the second piece is if you got some expectations, but you're not verbalizing them or communicating them, then there's no way that somebody's going to meet them. I mean, from what Taff or Jacoby, we keep on interchanging, shared, right? We shared the expectations in regards to his sports analogy, them, like they're understood. So once I meet them, now I can start the conversations. Whereas when we're talking about relationships, I think that whole dynamic changes if the communication isn't right. And then, of course, if you got expectations that you think somebody's not going to make, then you're setting them up for failure. And I think that happens a lot in these kind of relationships in general, that people, I got an expectation what you're going to do. And then it doesn't happen. Oh, now you're not the value that I'm looking for. And I think that goes both ways in some aspects. But I think in the beginning, a lot of guys are like trying to meet that expectation. They fall short so much that now finally, according to what Jacoby shared, they get to that expectation. They're like, all right, I'm changing the game. Now I'm changing what's going to happen because I've met that expectation and it's on my terms.
So are y'all saying that we shouldn't have expectations?
No, we actually
We're actually to speak to that. We're actually to speak to
Better have
that.
expectation.
Are the expectations
It's
We're
too high.
actually to speak to that.
not that you shouldn't have a list, but are the items on the list, or is that the problem?
So are the items on the list a problem,
mean,
or your expectations too high?
Early on, when you're younger, you might have a long list of expectations, but as you get older, like yeah, you gotta like, okay, well, he don't have to have this necessarily. He don't. Okay, well, you know, like it gets smaller and smaller. So, I don't know, like what you were saying, your analogy about him, attaining all these expectations and him, the ball being in his court. Dang, I lost my train of thought. So he can go out. He can go out and pick, but the women, our expectations get a little bit smaller as we are out there seeking the man.
I think it goes.
I don't know. We let Kirby go. Hold on, we ain't heard. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, I was agreeing on Marquita. I mean, yeah, as we get older, like our list is shorter, and then I guess y'all list go up, and ours go. It's like we just, it's the opposite.
Nah, men list stay the same, right?
Really?
Stay the same, right? It's the same, right? We need a couple things, right? And now, listen. I understand that this is going to come off very male chauvinistic, but it is the reality, right? Like if you ask men, if you give men these three things, they're going to be okay. You keep their stomach full, you keep the balls empty, and you keep their mind at peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You are absolutely correct.
I would definitely say that Dewan has got a good base to
No,
much.
hey, we simple, man. We don't go.
I want to give them. There's two things that I heard that I think kind of are subjective.
Hold on, Jacoby, you've been talking on goddamn good.
I didn't actually. All I was saying.
Yeah, you've been talking a long time, but
I just want to say
somebody
that.
else say something. Can somebody else say something?
Okay.
Go ahead, Jacoby. Go ahead. What you got?
All I was saying is that what y'all were saying is I think that as women, some women's list does get more refined, and the more refined the search, I think that's where you're gonna lose people in general, right? It doesn't matter if you're male or female. The more refined the search, if I'm out there searching for a certain type of thing, I'm not gonna get all of them things back out there that I put in there. So I don't think that that's necessarily true, because as we learn and we live, right? I think you come across some life lessons that make you be like, I ain't taking that shit. I'm not dealing with that. So how could your list not get refined as you get older? You might let some general things slide, but that might be, okay, I don't want nobody who got a baby. If you 30 plus, I mean, and he been out here living, it's going to be hard to start catching men and they 35 years old and they ain't never had no baby. You know, I mean, so I'm just saying, like, I do think that the list does get more refined. And for men, I think it really falls into the category of how much other men are falling off. So as other men are falling off and I'm meeting that expectation, that's why I'm starting to determine my value to be more. If I'm a value, whether it be dollar wise or whatever the case may be, I may start feeling like I can control the market a little bit better. And like you said, people dying, going to jail, it's so many different.
Okay, now
we can. Thank you for joining us.
It keeps going on.
Well, CJ, since you finally was able to get in here, how do you feel about what we've been discussing about just expectations in relationships, and why women find themselves lonely, essentially?
I think that we as women, first of all, should be focusing on a goal at the end of the day. Because what I've realized in my life is, first of all, you get the catch when you get your catch first. There's a lot of wisdom in Titanic. I watch a lot of movies where I'm just like, oh, I understand this. This is why this person kind of wanted this other person to move on, is because he wanted her to build herself. And at the end, I'll meet you there. So I think for us, we have to know what we want as human beings. First of all, you don't set your standards any kind of way. First of all, you build a friendship what I've noticed in my life is I want to build a friendship. And if it goes farther, that's cool. That's amazing. Because now I can tell this person everything. I can talk to this person about anything without feeling like scared or shaken up. Because who wants to be with somebody who you have to either set your standards low or high or anything like that? You just want to be with your best friend at the end of the day. So for me, I'm like, I'm setting my goals. And so it's more of a catch me if you can situation. And if I get that, give that person, first of all, my grandma always said, a man should always love you more than you love him. And I definitely believe that, and I understand that. It's just because it's more of like society is. It's everything is out there and everything's put out there, so they can just y'all can just get whatever you want and just don't care. It's just like, oh, that's available, that's available, that's available. So it's more of like, okay, now I just want to be a best friend that actually likes me for who I am and we can get along with and not feel like we have to set any expectation within ourselves. It's just like we cool, we love each other, that's cool. But we look through all this other stuff and these flaws. See, people, we all have flaws, first of all. That's just life, you know. We have to understand that's why we catch a best friend is because they're going to love us for those flaws and all. But a woman definitely should be focusing on her craft because as she's focusing on her craft and her faith, then all these beautiful abundance of man or wherever you want comes. That's what I believe.
Got you. So
Now,
you kind of was going right to what we were talking about because we were talking to Kirby and Keita about expectations. So you like don't put no expectations on it, just let it rock.
Yeah, let it flow, let it rock, let it flow, let it go. Like it's if it's meant for you, it'll be for you. I do believe that, and I think a lot of the times we all try to chase something, then we should be chasing ourselves first, and then that's when we meet our soulmates. So
now,
What if I
CJ.
caught myself?
Huh?
She said she already caught herself.
I already caught myself. Then
yeah.
I like it.
Keep on catching the girl. Keep on
She
catching
said she
it.
had where she at, but she's still lonely. She needs somebody, god dog it.
Yeah, but they shouldn't. She shouldn't have to run to them at all. Women shouldn't have to run to them. A
But
man
see,
knows what
So,
he wants.
but CJ,
That part.
you missed the part about the numbers, right? The numbers say that again, there are 2 million more women, black women, in the United States of America than men. 2 million more. There's 24 million women, 22 million men, black men, right? Or African Americans per se, really. Now, if you take into account the men population of men that are in jail, 800,000 plus men in jail, about 40, 50,000 women in jail. You take into account that it's less likely that a woman will date a man who identifies as gay as bisexual, to where a man may not have an issue dating a woman who identifies as gay and bisexual. The
they don't.
numbers for the women and their opportunities to get a man is dwindling. So even if that woman has found herself, has figured it all out, and she's loving herself and thriving in the world, if she's at a disadvantage if she's not willing to be aggressive in the pursuit of a man. How you feel about that,
I
CJ?
just see. I understand all that. However, I know my faith carries me well. I know that I'm never going to be alone. Sometimes I feel like somebody else is kind of somewhat talking to me, let me know, like, come on, don't doubt yourself. I'm going to come in, but you got to get your stuff together right now. So I have belief in spiritually where I know that I'm going to be taken care of no matter what. And sometimes some of us might be the Mother Teresa of the world and don't understand that our love is meant for everybody. Like where I'm stating just love, just to love, and you will get that abundance of love. There's a lot of people that don't understand that maybe your love is greater than just this. It's meant to give to everybody. Maybe your love is meant to give to the world in that sense. And I've watched movies where people are like, shoot, they've been alone for what was it, the goodness, the calling the corona. It's some kind of they have this disease, and I guess in this other country. But anyways, this guy was in love with this woman, and she married somebody else. And after the other person passed away, they didn't really get together until they were 70 years old. And I was
Ain't
like,
nobody waiting
wow,
that
dang.
long. Ain't nobody waiting that long.
Isn't that, it's crazy.
You
It's
notice,
crazy
oh,
how
You want to
things
wait
work.
that long? Do
ain't
you
nobody
I
want
waiting
don't
that
want
long.
to, but I don't want to. But however, I don't know how like this whole fate of ours is going. So I don't want to just. I'm not the type of person. Yes, I go on dates and stuff, and it's cool and everything. And sometimes it's more everybody's trying to get something from somebody, and it's not really where it's like, I really want to get to know who you are as a person. When I first came down to Texas, I thought it was kind of weird how all the men just kind of was like in their own little zone, and the women's at home in their zone. And it was like, wait a minute, we as women and men are supposed to be bonded together. This is a great dynamic. Like we're dynamic together. But there's a lot of people that got to get out of their comfort zone also, where they can be like, you know what, I want to get to know this person as a friend first. And I believe in friendships always. You never know who you're going to actually be with.
100%.
You could be talking to somebody right now and not knowing that's your soulmate. Like, yes, your best friend, your soulmate. But I don't know. It's just I don't want to go into to I don't want to necessarily go into like why this percentage and this percentage, because that's just the percentage, baby. I know who I am as a human being. So, and it's more of like, what do you want? What do you want? Sometimes you got to put on the piece of paper. This one lady said, put everything on a piece of paper who you want them to be, and it may take long, but it will come. I do believe that. I definitely am a true believer of that. And I think in my situation, in some relationships, I have messed up because instead of allowing a person to be what they wanted to be and realizing we're just friends, I tried to somewhat control it because it felt so good. It's like, wait a minute, I don't want nobody controlling me. So understand that let's let things ride and let it flow first. And however it goes, it goes. It may take 10 years, who knows? But if I'm meant to be with somebody, I definitely know I'm going to be with them. But right now, for me, I'm like, let me focus on my craft. Because when I focus on other things, then it just gets me out of whack of what my purpose is in this world to do.
So is
Exactly.
I like that.
the struggle? Is that the is what about the women in peace and where you're at? What about the women in the world, the men in the world that are trying to accelerate that process though, right? Through not waiting for it to happen actually, whether it's the dating apps or things like that, or they want it now. They have a goal in their head and this is when they want it now. I guess, is there stress attached to that? Is that stress real? Or can we all just will it to wait for it to come? Like I, everybody is not going to have, I guess, the same level of strength and faith that you do, or maybe even a belief system that allows them that. So does that make it? Does that make them? Are they not achieving what you're stating in your personal being because of that, or is it something else out there? Because I do believe that statistics are. However, whole bunch of numbers in front of us, that there is some level of a pattern or something there that we should identify with. And it appears that there are a lot of people in a certain age bracket that are looking to obtain relationships by any way possible. And it ain't as simple as going to the grocery store or the club or a lounge. They're on dating apps. They're doing all of the above, trying to accelerate that process for themselves. So how does peace and tranquility meet your personal wants and needs of wanting someone now?
And before
You
you
got
answer that,
to. Oh,
and before you answer that, there was I think you probably missed the beginning. We were like, hey, sometimes, and there was a job analogy. Like you want that situation. So don't you want to put yourself in that hat so that you do obtain that situation? Because you can't always just sit peacefully and wait for it to happen.
see, for me, I'm all like, just like some people may want a car and they don't know that this car may put them in debt. That's why when they say put cash down, because that means that it's meant for you at that time being. And I was just reading this book stating that, like, what, when God wants something in your life, she will present it. For me, God is a woman. We're not gonna go too deep into that, but it's like when your faith wants you to have something, it will give it to you. You may have to be patient about it, but I believe it will give it to you. And sometimes with all these numbers is that some people, and I've heard this a lot by some men, and said, like, why are black women so mad and stuff? And I'm like, mad, like, I was looking at my mother situation raising 2 kids, and she had to do a lot of things by herself. And I'm doing all this stuff by myself, and I'm not a mad human being. We're like happy, but I'm like, sometimes it gets too much. And I'm all like, I was like, dang, girl, I wonder why you had your little attitudes at times where we're like, what is going on with you? Because you were paying for every dang on thing. And that's some things that we who have grown up with men or women like this have to take in consideration, that this person may be traumatized from something that they went through. And now they're allowing this into the
CJ,
home when, huh?
you brought up something important. Not to cut you off, but that's
Uh,
another discussion and another question. Where
uh,
is one of the problems why we struggle within the Black community in relationships is the fact that, okay, you mentioned Black mother, right? 30% of the Black community, or 40% of the Black community, is two-parent household. That means there's 60% that aren't, right? So then you have only 10% of those single parents are men, which means the rest are women. So women are raising women, and they're raising their daughters to be very independent and preparing them to go out in the world and
yeah,
thrive and do well, right? And
yeah,
so that woman grows up learning how to do things on her own because her mama prepared her how to do things on her own. She didn't watch her mom do partnership. She didn't watch her mom have to make decisions with another partner and say, hey, babe, should we do this or should we do that? She didn't have to watch her mom, compromise and consider, consider her mate. She considered her children, but she didn't have to watch her mom consider that. So does it make it harder for men and women to actually be in relationships together when so many of us are being raised by women, because men are being raised by women too. But I think women raise their daughters differently than they raise their sons. I think they typically do a lot of things for their sons. And, because, women think men are idiots and they think they can't do things for themselves. But then they prepare their daughters to be
Yeah,
able to
that's
take
true.
care of
We do
themselves. And
think
so
that.
when you think of the dynamic between men and women relationships, they find struggle making decisions together. The woman either wants to be in control or the man wants to be in control. And I don't care who you are, what you do. You can't have two kings in a castle. You can't have two queens in a castle. Somebody has to be the decision maker at the end. We can do it together, but at the end of the day, the buck stops always with one person. That now, I'm not saying gender when it needs to be, but I'm saying the buck stops with one person.
Right. Kirby and Kitty, what y'all think?
I believe what you said. Like, I do feel like that plays a role in relationships, because which I was raised in a two-parent home where the man is the head of the household. I do believe in that, where the man is the head, and he's the one that makes the final decision. Not saying that he doesn't ask, his opinion of his wife, but it's just that he's the one that makes the final decision. So whereas I do, a lot of relationships, because people don't have that model, they don't know how that works. So, a lot of relationships, they fail because, well, I say they fail, but
Just didn't
but they
work.
fail. Yeah, just sometimes stuff just don't work out, and it's not necessarily saying it failed. It's just, they just weren't meant to be, or but I do feel like that does play a role, where you have ladies that are independent, and like, no man can tell me nothing. I do feel that way. Yeah.
Kitty, what you think?
Man, I'm so sorry. I wasn't really paying attention that much. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
God.
What happened? Like the man being the head of the household?
Yeah,
Larry.
you wasn't supposed to say it.
You got to reiterate to her the topic.
No,
Right.
I do think that the man should be the head of the household. And what else was it? Sorry, I apologize.
Funny.
Full
No,
undivided attention right now.
y'all funny. No, what they was talking about, it was more so like men being the head of the household, not necessarily gender roles, but it's like somebody got to run something. Like somebody got to be running the show. We can't drive. Two people can't drive one car. How you feel about that in relationships?
Um, I think that it should be. I'm not saying like equal, but I feel like my man should consult with me. We should just come up with, like, I guess, decisions together. But he is the head of the household. He does ultimately make the final decisions in the relationship. Yeah, I'm old school. I'm old school all the way. So
Me too.
CJ, what you think?
you're gonna
So for
disagree.
me, I definitely compromise. I know how to compromise. So I'm always about this whatever the smartest decision is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it could be the man and sometimes it could be the woman. As I noticed, everybody has their whole like what they're good at, what they're good at. And if their field is good at what it is, then it's like, okay, let's be smart. Just like if you go to work, you wouldn't tell the manager to go and do, even though, well, you wouldn't tell the cashier to go do the manager's job because it's not the cashier's job. That's what she's good at. He or she is good at the cashier. So it's more of whoever, for me, is smartest in the decision. I guess it depends on the subject or whatever we're discussing. Because if I'm not good at something, I'm like, well, yeah, you're going to have to make this decision because I have no idea. And if I'm good at it, he's gonna hopefully I got somebody to know how to compromise it just as I do and say, hey, that's your thing, that's your field, girl. Go ahead and do it.
See,
It's more
CJ,
like that to me because
CJ, we about to have a problem. Let me tell you, we about to have a problem. That is a great answer, and that's idealistic.
Very
The
ideal.
reality is, both people think they have the best idea, right? Now, 100% compromise is super important in a relationship. But what happened when both the cashier and the stocker both think they should be the manager, and they both have skill sets that show they should be the manager? How does that work itself out?
then you're gonna have to upgrade yourself to management. You gonna have to put in the work just as much as that person put in the work too. For me,
But only one can
for
step in
me,
that position.
So let me
I
ask.
this is how I am.
Something.
I always been like whoever has the smartest idea
Go ahead, Jacoby. What you saying, bro?
Let me ask y'all something.
because I've noticed that in
We
Go ahead.
okay, so let me ask y'all a question. Is there an age where this leftover comment actually is applicable for men or women? Because Kirby, you said something earlier, and I wanted to circle back to it. You said men be leftover too. I actually agree that there is a leftover category for men. I don't know what it is.
Paris is one. Paris is one of them.
No, I'm not.
You was one, bro. You was
No, I'm
one.
not.
I don't know. I don't know what it was or what it is. And I would what category and how do we define what this category of men are leftovers? How are we going to figure that out? And then second, what I guess going back to the original question, category the women.
Jacoby, hold on. Hey, P, you want a leftover guy?
Hell no. I'm about to wait a minute, my dude.
You about to be married again, but you had 2 kids, right? You like 40 something, I think. I think you 40 something because you ain't
Right? So let me see where you were going with this. You're about to play yourself. Where you going with this? Because you're about to play yourself.
That's hilarious. He hilarious. He muted me. You got 2 kids.
Okay.
You about to get married again. You like 40 something, bro. How you not a leftover? Like what? How give me the
Because I chose not to get. I've been in situations where I could have got married before, but I just didn't do it.
Okay, all right. So you chose. They didn't
I
choose.
chose.
That makes you not a leftover.
Yeah, because
Who
I
said
didn't
he
want to get
chose?
married. I didn't want to get married.
I can be in a relationship right now, but I don't want to be in a relationship. Does that make
And
me a leftover?
and right there goes to what I think Jacoby was getting at. At which points does it become a different discussion?
Question: what makes a woman a leftover?
No,
That's-
see, that's that. I'm
We don't
not
know.
here to answer that because I don't feel that's a fair question.
We don't know.
I don't know what.
No.
First of all,
Okay.
the reason why I
Not a
don't know what makes
leftover.
the reason why I don't know what makes a leftover is because first, I'm married. I can't call what a leftover really is. Second of all, I would say because if the dating market is resetting, right, and y'all aren't getting married and having kids as early, and there's so many different dynamics out there to what y'all can choose or do. Date girls, date guys, not date at all. I don't. How do you define what a leftover is? Plus, everybody is hiding in themselves, right? That's why I can't define it. a lot of women, a lot of men want to hide in their sexuality, sexual orientation, sexual preferences, the abstinence, and all of these types of things to actually kind of find ways to make themselves unavailable on the market to so that they don't really have to go in there and figure out what rejection is. So if you're choosing not to be a part of the game, how do I know you're a leftover if you fear being selected? I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that people do, men and women, right? When we're trying to define how, if a man's leftover or a woman is leftover, I feel that there's a lot of things that happen that people do personally to make themselves unavailable or because they fear not being selected. And I'm gonna be honest, not trying to have the LGBTQ plus come down on me, but I do believe that sometimes in our sexual choices, just like in the Kendrick's new album, you've done so much to a woman that you make her feel comfortable being with other women and things like that. These are all different arguments where people have shown that they have a fear of being selected. So therefore, they make choices to make themselves unavailable. So for me to tell you what a leftover is in this day and age, watching how people date, when we didn't even have dating apps, we still had to go get it out the mud, get it out the club. I don't really know what it looks like to be a leftover or what that really means. However, I do know that it does appear that there are a certain group of people that get picked real early in life. Now, I don't know why that is, opposed to a group of people that don't. So that's kind of why y'all are here. I know we went and talked about a lot of different things, but at what point are we setting the market at what a leftover is? Or are we just going to say, you know what? He was stupid as hell for saying that there ain't no such thing. But I know it's a such thing now because Kirby already trapped y'all by saying that men is leftover too, which means that implies that women are leftovers in a category in her head. So just tell me which one we both fit in.
I don't know. I don't think there's leftovers. I think that everything on social media just shows every single thing. So there's like, I can just get whatever I want. And there's some people who are like,
that's not a real place. It's not a real place.
Huh?
That's the internet. The internet is not a real place.
Yes, but it is like well, obviously Tinder is what it is, and Bumble is what it is. But you really do try to get to know people. But there's so many people, just like in Euphoria. What was it? Jacob and that one girl, the blonde girl that said you can do anything to me. And I'm all like, what? You can do anything to me?
Them was kids.
I know, but it's still like some people are still like that. They put themselves out like that. You wouldn't imagine how some older people would just put themselves out like that because they desperate.
That's not
a real thing.
Like it's desperateness, and I'm not a desperate human being. So if something's gonna come to me, it's gonna come to me. But I know I have to focus on my craft because it's a purpose in that. It's a big purpose for me, and I had to wake up myself, be like, you know what, you have a bigger purpose in this. Please focus on that, and I promise you, I will bring you everything you want.
CJ and I with the shit. All right, CJ, we got her.
I'm going to say what a leftover is. And y'all can agree or disagree with me, okay?
Go ahead, throw it out.
Okay, so a leftover, I feel like, is somebody who is just out there, just willy-nilly, just dating right now. Like at our age, I feel like we've done certain things. We've dated. Some of us have been married. Some of us have kids. Like once you reach a certain age and you reach certain stages in life and you're not with somebody, I think that makes you a leftover.
That's why our parents won.
Listen, this dude, if you don't end up being one,
Keita, so what age group is that, Keita? What age group is that?
I don't know what age group it is. I mean, I couldn't say. I would probably say 35. I don't know. I mean, just throwing a number out there. I'm not sure.
Oh, my Keita, you wrong for that because you 34. You sure right.
You right. She put it. You right. Her age.
You right. You right.
So next year, if I'm still single, I'll be a leftover. I'm kind of leftover right now.
See, Kevin Samuel said 35.
35.
I don't listen to Kevin Samuels.
Leftover and a Passover.
What, Kirby? What'd you say?
I don't listen to Kevin Samuels. I'm one of the ones that didn't listen to him. He
Me
really
neither. I don't know.
he didn't offend me with that. Like, cause I mean, I feel like I'm not a leftover. I mean, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a great catch still. So, you know.
I mean, just because you're a leftover, that don't mean you're not a great catch.
I mean,
Right.
to me, what a leftover is somebody that's, you know, like a man with a lot of kids that's been married 2 or 3 times. That's a leftover to me.
Nah, Kirby. Hey, listen. After a certain age,
No, no,
he's
can't.
that man still getting play in the club. They don't care that he got 6 kids by 6 different women. He been married 3 times. If he's 44, man,
Well, you know,
women ain't caring. If he handsome and he smell good, he smell like Brute.
well, a
He gonna get
damaged
some love.
person,
That's
a
not even
damaged
true.
person.
Kirby, everybody got that uncle or got that friend. They got carburetor juice and oil stuck in their fingernails, the cigarette that hang from the end of their mouth. They live at home with a mama or somebody or a relative in that back room. And guess what? That dude still got 5 or 6 women fighting
He
for his.
does. He
So,
does.
I'm
But
just saying,
I'll say a damaged person is
because
Some
I'm
women are
just
fighting
saying,
for him.
carburetor uncle at 50, 60 years old with them raising fingers still be getting played. So we
But
got
what
to
kind of
figure
women
out.
though?
I'm just saying, everybody got that uncle that they could think of right now. That friend that come fix they call their dad and he fixed their car for them. They all got him, and that dude always got 5 women and he ain't never homeless. So I'm sure
But not no quality woman though.
At all.
he might have a quality woman. He might.
Nah, girl, men love hoes and bitches. Men love hoes and bitches. What I've noticed, hoes and bitches. The hoes and bitches bring them out. But when they find a good woman, they be like, "Oh, that's scary. That's love. That's too scary for them." That's what I believe. That's too scary.
well,
But a
I
hoe and a
guess
bitch is always gonna be messing with somebody else. Not to say the bitch word, but
Oh, you
that's what I've
good.
noticed. I was like, wow.
That's a different conversation, though.
Sure is. Sure.
That's a
is.
different conversation. We're talking about that's the thirst trapper right there.
All right. I'm gonna say this, right? So I'm gonna give y'all the rundown. Now, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but this is just the numbers. This is just what it says, right? So if she's over 35, she's attractive, and that plays a factor, and I'm gonna tell you why. If she's over 35, she's never been married, she's never been in a long-term relationship, anything over 3 years, and she doesn't have any kids, that's typically a red flag. Now, I don't know if you want to call that a Passover or a leftover or not, but it's a red flag, right? Now, let me tell you why the disqualifier, and there's one for men too. Trust me, there's one for men. I'll give you the man one too. The reason why the attractive component matters because women who are attractive get hit on a lot. So, in all those attempts, no one wanted to keep her. No one wanted to put a ring on it. No one tried to put a baby in her. Now, granted, there are some medical reasons that can keep a woman from having a baby. We're talking about the ones who don't have those medical reasons, right? Then the question is why. Now, granted, that person could have been on a mission, all in their 20s. There's several factors, but it is a red flag. There needs to be questions associated with it. Men over 40, handsome, makes good money, never been in a long-term relationship, don't have any kids, never been married. Same red flag. All right, he's handsome, he's over 40. We already talked about women get desperate at a certain age. No one chose that man. No one said they wanted to deal with his stinky drawers or his greasy hands, and stick with him. That's a red flag. That means there are issues. That person may have compatibility issues. There's something that's getting in their way of them connecting and building a relationship. Now, again, I hope I ain't offend anybody, but that's just the reality of the situation. People don't want to hear that. Somebody gonna get in the comments and say he don't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. I've been a therapist 15 years. I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. But the reality is those are the numbers. And I don't know if that means you are a leftover, but that definitely means ask more questions. Because why are we here alone at this
So
age
I'm
in
a
our
red
lives?
flag, is what you're
That's the
saying.
question.
Oh
He said
no, I don't believe that
Listen,
because I've known
I'm
spiritually
not a red
that
flag.
yeah. It just look, Leonardo DiCaprio is how old and he's still like, let's be real.
That's because he's
Like
rich
some
and he's
people
handsome.
are not ready. Some people are not ready. And like for me, I know, like, in my faith and everything, what it's telling me what I need to do. So it's more of where are you at in your life for me. And I don't go and chase. I'm never going to chase no man. That's not even my situation at the moment. I'm going to chase my dream first before anything.
Wait a minute. So
That's just always.
You think God gonna drop through at your front door?
Huh?
God ain't about to drop
Yep.
through at your front door. It ain't
Yeah.
happening.
Yes, I do actually. But
Man,
I really
man,
do. I really have really good faith in that. However, I know what
that
I have
is
to get
not
in my life.
realistic. Go
That's
ahead, Kirby.
realistic for me. I've
Okay.
had so many miracles happen in my life that I'm like kind of like, dang, oh my God, this is unreal for me. But I
Okay.
know that when I listen to my God, she's trying to say, Constance, please, please focus on the dream, girl. Focus on the dream. The dream is gonna get you where you need to be. That's where I need you to go. You have things that you want to do in this life that actually can help people in this world at this time. And some people are the Mother Teresa's of this world, and the what is it? I forget
So you
his
say
name.
you want to
I
be a
forget.
nun?
No, it's more of people have bigger hearts to give out to this world than they know they do.
Yeah.
And right now, there's a lot of justice that needs to be handled, and it's more gathering me in my like seeing how people are being raped. I'm very connected spiritually, so it's more telling me like there's more justice that you can do for this world. Right now, I need you to handle your business in law and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then I'm gonna bring you the most greatest king that you ever seen in your life because you are a good human being. You do a lot of things for people, and I know that I'm not leftover because I know who my heart is. So nobody can ever tell me about my heart because my heart is very good. So therefore, God is not just gonna give me anybody. It's not gonna be in when it does feel like it is. It's like no, that's not it. And some people are scared of love. Some of us people are scared of the energy that I have, and they're like, "Wait a minute, this is too much love. You got this sunflower love that's very like, dang girl, like." But I didn't realize that's meant for like that's meant for the world, to see, and that's for me to basically progress in my purpose. So I'm on like another level in life where I'm not looking for no man, not like that, and have to be like, oh, this and this and that. No, there's no argument in that for me. It's just that if it comes, it's gonna come. I know I'm never alone, but I know what I got to get in life first. I got to handle my business first. And there's a lot of things that I kind of neglect. And now it's like, listen, I need you to get this, and then I'm gonna give you everything you want. But
Gotcha.
that's for me. But everybody has their way of saying how they feel about statistics and numbers. But you got to know thyself first. Once you know thyself, then all that stuff just is like the to entertain the world is nonsense for me. I'll be lost if I was entertaining the world. I'm entertaining something that I believe in and where I need to go and get. So that's for me.
Can I say something about the red flags that you
Go
brought
ahead.
up, Dewan, earlier?
Go.
Go ahead.
What's
Oh,
up,
y'all
Keita?
can
Go
hear me?
ahead,
Okay.
Keita.
Yeah,
Go
go.
ahead,
You
Keita.
good?
So,
We close to
so,
time. Go ahead.
what I wanted to say was that I was in a relationship for 7 years before I became single, and I broke that relationship off because it was something that I wasn't wanting to deal with anymore. So now I'm out here in the dating world in my early 30s trying to figure it out. So am I a leftover at that point if I'm like just out here dating? I don't. Do I have red flags
Well, you remember if you
according
hadn't been
to
in a
her?
relationship longer than 3 years.
Oh, well,
You've been in a long one.
well. I mean, it still applies. I feel like.
But what if you
Who's
like?
really gonna know that though? If I'm out here dating, they're just gonna say, "Oh, you're this age and you're out here dating." Like, who's gonna know that I was in a long-term relationship?
I mean, I think there's the aspect of it is really that you've been able to work with somebody in some capacity for a lengthy amount of time, and
Mm.
somebody wanted some way. Now, the reason the kid thing matters is because we all know that sometimes toxic people say, "Well, you don't want me, or in order to keep you, I'm gonna try to get you pregnant or have a baby by you." Right? It still represents the fact that there was something about you that made
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
decide that they wanted to
Yeah.
be with you in some type of way. Now, again, the thing is about how long were you in a relationship. Now, there's always going to be people who decided for whatever reason that they focus on other things and they don't want to be in a relationship. That's true. However, if I decide now at 50 that I do want to be in a relationship, it's going to be hard when at 50 I'll try to learn how to be a partner, right? So, there's working on yourself is phenomenal. Hey, you got to love yourself before you can love someone else. CJ, I'm with you on that. However, God gave us each other. He gave us people. He gave Adam and Eve. He gave us partnership. We're meant to be in partnerships. A person will go crazy psychologically if they spend the rest of their lives by themselves. That's look at the numbers. I mean, I know you don't want to look at the numbers, but the numbers speak to the sense of our brain is not meant for isolation.
I understand what you're saying, but it just
COVID happened. Suicide went up 400%. Suicide went up 400% because people got a lot of their socialization from going to work. Once they were stuck in the house all day, for those who don't have families, friends, and all that, they really, really struggled. They didn't have outlets. It's because we're not meant to be alone. So what I'm saying is, if you're not pursuing companionship, relationship, socialization, if you're not pursuing that, then there's going to be an issue when you actually get that in your life. Because practice is what allows us to be in healthy relationships. We don't just wake up one day and because I'm healthy, I know how to be in a healthy relationship. That's not how that happens.
I go out.
I
go out. I talk to people. I talk to guys and stuff. And if it ends up to be something, it could end up to be something. I go out and talk to guys and stuff. And if it ends up to be something, it ends up to be something. But I'm not sitting here like, here I am, can take me all this. No, I will never do that. It will never be like that for me. I know I'm the diamond in the relationship. I know I'm the diamond in this. Well, I know as a woman who is the diamond. I know who was attached.
Kirby, Kirby about to cuss me out. Let Kirby talk. It's Kirby.
Wait, no, I'm not.
Kirby, go ahead, Kirby. Say what's on your mind, Kirby.
No, I'm listening because I just felt like I was just shot like several times, like because why I gotta be a red flag though? That's what I'm not understanding.
Kirby, what's the longest relationship you've been in before? Kirby, what's the longest relationship you've been in? How long was the longest relationship you've been in, Kirby?
Longest was 3 years.
I just said 3 years. You made it.
But I'm just saying though, that's like the only. But all the other stuff, I just felt like what I'm saying. That's just like.
Hey, that's when the preacher talking to you. You know you did something wrong. The same thing. We gotta go, man. We've been going over time. Let's go to here.
We got. Listen, ladies. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all so much
jumping in on this discussion with us. We love the fact that y'all keeping it real and being honest. We hope to have you guys back soon. Because Kirby gonna be sending me an email cussing me out. Kirby, I understand. It's all good. I love you too. We good. But is there anything that you ladies would like to say, before we depart? Help us help the
love
brothers.
yourself first. Then you'll learn how to love others. Know the things that you do in the relationship as well. Because I know, like, when I saw what I was doing, I was learned from them. And I said, oh, wow, this is good to know this, because now I won't bring that bull in a relationship. So definitely know thyself and learn from what you grow from. Like, you grow from all these relationships and you know what you did. And if they don't understand that what they did, it's okay as long as you knew what you did. And that's cool. It's like watching, I was reading this thing on Adam and Eve, and they failed to, basically they lived in their own misery because they failed to compromise and know themselves or what they didn't do. They did wrong. So it was like none of them did nothing wrong. They failed to understand what they did wrong. So always understand what you did wrong and kind of take that with you and say, you know what, let me make that into something else because that was not right.
I like it.
I love it.
I do want to say I appreciate you guys for allowing us to be on here with y'all. And ladies over 35, we are not leftovers, okay? We are not. At all.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the time leftovers?
We're just not hoes.
Because sometimes the leftovers be good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you gotta let it marinate, and the leftovers are the best.
especially
That
leftover
was a good
spaghetti.
one.
Leftovers that got some butter
ladies,
on me.
Sea
Leftovers that got
cushion.
some butter on
thank
me is
y'all.
really good.
We appreciate you. Hey, y'all like, subscribe, follow us at Braspective on Facebook, at Braspective on
Okay.
TikTok, at Braspective on Instagram. Like, subscribe, share videos with your friends. We have this topic. We have more topics coming. Again, we appreciate you, ladies, and
Hey,
you guys have a blessed
Thank
one.
you.
CJ, you might be
Y'all as
trouble.
well. Have a blessed day.
I don't think they deliver niggas at the door. I'm gonna just put it out there. They don't do that. They don't do that. You gotta just, they're not